Hello, drama lovers, welcome to my Young and the Restless official channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Before we dive into today's content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and show some love by giving this video a like up. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Claire Newman's pregnancy may be the only way to stop Summer Newman. Will Kyle Abbott's baby form an unbreakable link with Claire and change the game? Summer has a special bond with Kyle because they co-parent Harrison Abbott. Summer, Harrison's adoptive mother, will always be linked to Kyle because they share a kid. Summer has been leveraging her Harrison bond to her advantage lately, as Y&R fans are well aware. Claire cares about Harrison as well, so Summer must see that this is the only angle she can pursue without receiving too much criticism from Kyle and his girlfriend. However, Claire is aware of Summer's activities and dislikes them. Despite Claire's attempts to act as if she is not threatened, fears are definitely developing and could lead to larger problems. Victor Newman has emphasized the need of Summer and Kyle working together for Harrison's sake. Victor would prefer to see both grandchildren free of Kyle, but he'd rather see Kyle with Summer than Claire. Claire may be able to level the playing field with Summer though. Since there has been so much focus on how Harrison connects Kyle and Summer, could Claire become pregnant and give Kyle a permanent connection to her as well? It would be intriguing to see Claire's cunning side play out here. Jordan raised Claire, so that part of her is still there, waiting to be revealed in a new tale. Could Claire get pregnant on purpose in the hopes of securing her future with Kyle? Summer could accuse Claire of this if she ends up with Kyle's bun in the oven. Even if Claire becomes pregnant by mistake as a result of a birth control mishap, Summer may continue to throw accusations at her and exacerbate their disagreement. Perhaps Summer could try to get inside Kyle's head and pretend Claire is attempting to trap him. Whatever the situation may be, Kyle and Claire have been sleeping together for some time, so the door is wide open for a pregnancy plot if Y&R wishes to pursue it. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Victor will continue to make dismal prophecies about Kyle and Claire's future. But will he be proven correct? Could Kyle and Claire's baby be the game-changer Claire needs? Summer, Kyle, and Claire's love triangle will continue to take unexpected turns, so stay tuned for updates on any stunning news. According to The Young and the Restless teasers, Diane Jenkins Abbott may say 7 harsh words to Summer Newman. Kyle Abbott's mother may try to put an end to Summer's reunion plot with a harsh warning, so let's see how things play out. Summer can deny it all she wants, but she definitely wants to be back with Kyle. That's why Summer is so eager to make negative predictions about Kyle and Claire Newman's future together. Summer appears to want another opportunity with Kyle as he gets closer to Claire. Summer and Kyle's marriage ended in heartbreak, but she seemed to believe they can overcome their flaws and do things correctly this time around. Summer's reunion efforts will undoubtedly increase in the following weeks, which could lead to Diane's intervention. Diane is quite protective of Kyle and will undoubtedly be upset if Summer disrupts his current relationship. Diane has expressed concerns about Victor Newman harming Kyle and Claire's relationship, but this does not mean she wants the couple to split up. Claire was important in repairing Diane and Kyle's destroyed friendship, and Diane owes her that. Furthermore, Kyle appears to be genuinely happy with Claire, so Diane should be quite eager to keep her son in his happy place. Diane will not appreciate Summer's threat, so she may have to confront her former daughter-in-law down the road. There may come a moment when Summer goes too far, and Diane may feel compelled to intercede and correct Summer. If that's the case, Diane may easily tell Summer these 7 stern words. Back off, Kyle, or you'll be sorry. Diane's mama bear instincts may take over as she issues a strong warning. That doesn't mean Summer will listen, but Diane could lash out and try to silence Kyle's ex-wife. According to The Young and the Restless spoilers, Summer may need to adjust her tactics sooner or later, so keep an eye out for any significant romantic developments. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest Sharon Newman may have 4 new romance options to consider. Who will help Sharon move on from Nick Newman now that he has canceled a reunion? Sharon might get together with another ex on Canvas, but let's look at some whole fresh matching options instead. It's always wonderful for the program to liven things up with some new flying sparks, so here are some new romance options for Sharon. Holden Novak certainly wants to renew his romance with Audra Charles, but she may still put up a fight because she's committed to Nate Hastings. Although Holden flirted with Claire Newman as well, she has made her own commitment to Kyle Abbott and may be unwilling to stray. It is easy to envision Holden looking elsewhere for a hot hookup at some point. Sharon and Holden may have some chemistry if given the chance, but it doesn't have to be serious. Should Y&R allow Holden and Sharon to hit the sheets? Damian Kane is another new face on Canvas who hasn't been formally taken yet. Despite Damian's desire in Lily Winters, they will undoubtedly encounter some serious roadblocks. Damian is keeping his agenda a secret, so Lily will be upset if further information is revealed. If Lily ultimately rejects Damian, at least temporarily, he may end up in bed with someone else. Would you be amenable to Sharon and Damian having a one-night stand? Aristotle Dumas. There's been a lot of buzz about Aristotle Dumas, so Sharon may be a potential love interest for him once he arrives in Genoa City. It would be interesting to see Sharon fall for this sleazy business tycoon, possibly revealing a softer side of him. 4. Daniel. Although Daniel Romalotti Jr. is definitely not fresh to the canvas, his romance with Sharon could be if Y&R chooses to go there. Could Sharon and Daniel form a decent match now that they have moved on from their previous pain? We can't think of a better way to test Sharon and Phyllis Summers' newfound understanding than by having Sharon sizzle with her kid. Regardless, the Young and the Restless spoilers indicate Sharon deserves the chance to move on from Nick, so who will help her get started? Sharon will make some guesses about what will happen next and try to sort things out, so keep an eye out for any major romantic developments. The Young and the Restless spoilers for March 22 state that Martin Lawrence's big final will begin while Chance Chancellor passes on a hint. Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman will also have their last shot to survive, so let's discuss what's coming up. In captivity, Sharon and Phyllis will attempt to pinpoint the exact location of the camera. The idea is to switch it off and interrupt the kidnapper's fun so that he is forced to reveal his face. Phyllis and Sharon, on the other hand, may face consequences for attempting to set their own standards. Martin, who appears to be posing as his twin brother, Alan Laurent, may respond in this intricate experiment built with ultimate control in mind. Whatever the situation may be, Martin will undoubtedly have a dramatic final planned for the kidnapping crisis. Phyllis and Sharon will be in a desperate struggle to survive, thus there may be an explosive device with a countdown or deadly gas sprayed into the room. Of course, Alan may leave his engagement celebration with Tracy Abbott and head over to Havenhurst at some point. Could that lead to Alan being arrested there? Regardless, Y&R teasers indicate that Nick Newman and Billy Abbott will eventually arrive at the facility in the hopes of pulling off a rescue. Chance will not be far behind and will provide updates on a clue, which could help them save the captives while also potentially exposing Alan. It sounds like Martin may lose control of his plot, which could lead to some wild moments. The culmination of this kidnapping tale will include some terrifying twists and turns, but Phyllis and Sharon will escape in the end. Unfortunately, the Young and the Restless spoilers reveal Tracy will be devastated when she discovers everything she thought she knew about Alan is a fake. Tracy will continue to make predictions about her bright future with Alan, but she will certainly receive some devastating news soon. According to the Young and the Restless spoilers, Phyllis Summers is experiencing some troubling symptoms. Could Martin Laurent, aka Alan Laurent, have planned for some delayed toxic effects? Phyllis drank a glass of water while in captivity and quickly became critically unwell. Phyllis was in excruciating pain as a result of the burn in her stomach and may have died if Sharon Newman had not discovered an antidote. However, there is no certainty that the antidote was safe because it came from a crazy. It's likely that Phyllis was given medication to counteract the toxin, while also preparing her for future health concerns. Phyllis was relieved at first, but some delayed poison effects could be setting in if that's what Twisted Martin intended. We wouldn't put it past Martin to add more nefarious aspects to his plot. In Wyatt R's March 19 episode, Summer Newman provided Sharon and Nick Newman with some concerning details about Phyllis following the kidnapping. Summer claims that Phyllis appears to be off and has been behaving erratically. Summer is used to Phyllis being quite focused, but she is now disorganized and losing her line of thought in a simple conversation. It's likely that Phyllis is suffering from PTSD or is simply struggling to return to her normal life. However, something more serious may be going on here. Sharon and Phyllis were checked out by paramedics after the kidnapping, but they should have had a more thorough assessment at the hospital. Sharon, who observed Phyllis' medical crisis when they were locked up, expressed her own concerns in the March 19 episode, insisting that Phyllis see a doctor. Phyllis was drugged to bring her into captivity before consuming poison and a possibly dangerous antidote. Thus she has a variety of unexplained substances in her system. Could Martin have another plan for Phyllis in terms of the long-term consequences? Time will tell, but Summer will continue to make alarming predictions regarding Phyllis' health. According to the Young and the Restless teasers, Billy Abbott will also try to aid Phyllis in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for updates on her condition. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Sharon Newman could have 4 new romantic options to consider. Who will help Sharon move on from Nick Newman now that he's shut down a reunion? Sharon might get together with another ex on Canvas, but let's focus on some brand new pairing possibilities instead. It's always nice when the show can shake things up with some fresh flying sparks, so here are some new romantic candidates for Sharon. Holden Novak would clearly like to reignite his romance with Audra Charles, but she may keep putting up a fight since she's committed to Nate Hastings. Although Holden flirted with Claire Newman as well, she's made a commitment of her own to Kyle Abbott and may not be willing to stray. It's easy to imagine Holden turning elsewhere for a sizzling hookup at some point. It wouldn't necessarily have to be anything serious between them, but Sharon and Holden just might have some chemistry if given the chance. Should Y&R let Holden and Sharon hit the sheets? Damien Kane is another new guy on Canvas who isn't officially taken yet. Although Damien is showing interest in Lily Winters, they're bound to face some major bumps in the road. Damien is keeping secrets when it comes to his agenda, so Lily won't be pleased once more details come to light. If Lily ultimately rejects Damien, at least for a while, he might land in bed with someone else. Would you be open to a Sharon and Damien pairing, even if it's just a one-night stand? Aristotle Dumas. There's been a lot of talk about Aristotle Dumas, so maybe Sharon could become a love interest option for him once he inevitably hits Genoa City. It might be interesting to see Sharon fall for this shady business tycoon, and perhaps bring out a softer side of him. 4. Daniel. Although Daniel Romalotti Jr. obviously isn't new on Canvas, his romance with Sharon could be if Y&R decides to go there. Could Sharon and Daniel make a good match after moving beyond all the pain of the past? We can't think of a better way to put Sharon and Phyllis Summers' newfound understanding to the test than to have Sharon sizzle with her son. Regardless, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Sharon deserves an opportunity to move on from Nick, so who will help her get started on that? Sharon will make some predictions about what's next and try to figure things out, so stay tuned for updates on any big romantic news that might be looming. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Sharon Newman could have 4 new romantic options to consider. Who will help Sharon move on from Nick Newman now that he's shut down a reunion? Sharon might get together with another ex on Canvas, but let's focus on some brand new pairing possibilities instead. It's always nice when the show can shake things up with some fresh flying sparks, so here are some new romantic candidates for Sharon. Holden Holden Novak would clearly like to reignite his romance with Audra Charles, but she may keep putting up a fight since she's committed to Nate Hastings. Although Holden flirted with Claire Newman as well, she's made a commitment of her own to Kyle Abbott and may not be willing to stray. It's easy to imagine Holden turning elsewhere for a sizzling hookup at some point. It wouldn't necessarily have to be anything serious between them, but Sharon and Holden just might have some chemistry if given the chance. Should Y&R let Holden and Sharon hit the sheets? Damian Kane is another new guy on Canvas who isn't officially taken yet. Although Damian is showing interest in Lily Winters, they're bound to face some major bumps in the road. Damian is keeping secrets when it comes to his agenda, so Lily won't be pleased once more details come to light. If Lily ultimately rejects Damian, at least for a while, he might land in bed with someone else. Would you be open to a Sharon and Damian pairing, even if it's just a one-night stand? Aristotle Dumas. There's been a lot of talk about Aristotle Dumas, so maybe Sharon could become a love interest option for him once he inevitably hits Genoa City. It might be interesting to see Sharon fall for this shady business tycoon, and perhaps bring out a softer side of him. 4. Daniel. Although Daniel Romalotti Jr. obviously isn't new on Canvas, his romance with Sharon could be if Y&R decides to go there. Could Sharon and Daniel make a good match after moving beyond all the pain of the past? We can't think of a better way to put Sharon and Phyllis Summers' newfound understanding to the test than to have Sharon sizzle with her son. Regardless, The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sharon deserves an opportunity to move on from Nick, so who will help her get started on that? Sharon will make some predictions about what's next and try to figure things out, so stay tuned for updates on any big romantic news that might be looming. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Diane Jenkins Abbott may say 7 fierce words to Summer Newman. Kyle Abbott's mom may try to shut down Summer's reunion plot with a bold warning, so let's consider how things might play out. Summer can deny it all she wants, but she's clearly hoping to get back together with Kyle. That's why Summer's been so quick to make negative predictions about Kyle and Claire Newman's future as a couple. The closer Kyle gets to Claire, the more Summer seems to want another chance with him. Y&R fans know Summer and Kyle's marriage ended in heartbreak, but she apparently thinks they can rise above their past mistakes and do things right this time. Summer will no doubt kick her reunion efforts up a notch in the coming weeks, and once that happens, it could lead to Diane's intervention. Diane is quite protective of Kyle and surely won't approve of Summer rocking the boat in his current romance. Although Diane has voiced some concerns about Victor Newman sabotaging Kyle and Claire's relationship, that doesn't mean she wants the two of them to break up. Claire was instrumental in helping Diane and Kyle repair their shattered bond, so Diane owes her for that. Plus, Kyle seems genuinely happy with Claire, so Diane should be highly motivated to preserve her son's blissful bubble. Summer poses a threat that Diane won't appreciate, so she may face off with her former daughter-in-law down the road. There may come a point when Summer takes things too far, so Diane may feel the need to intervene and put Summer in her place. If that's the case, Diane could easily say these 7 fierce words to Summer. "Back off, Kyle, or you'll be sorry." Diane's mama bear side may take over as she delivers a stern warning. That doesn't mean Summer will listen, but Diane could let the claws come out and at least try to shut down Kyle's ex-wife. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Summer may have to make some updates to her tactics sooner or later, so stay tuned for any major romantic news ahead. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Claire Newman's pregnancy might be the only way to stop Summer Newman. Will Kyle Abbott's baby create a forever bond with Claire and change the game? Summer has a forever link of her own with Kyle since they're co-parenting Harrison Abbott. As Harrison's adoptive mother, Summer is always going to be connected to Kyle through the child they share. Y&R fans know Summer has definitely been using this Harrison bond to her advantage lately. Claire cares about Harrison too, so Summer must realize it's the one angle she can work without getting too much pushback from Kyle and his girlfriend. That said, Claire can tell what Summer's up to and certainly doesn't like it. Despite Claire's attempts to act like she's not feeling threatened, insecurities are clearly creeping up and could lead to bigger problems. Victor Newman has been hyping up how Summer and Kyle need to present a united front for Harrison's sake. Although Victor would prefer to see both granddaughters free of Kyle, he'd obviously rather see Kyle with Summer than Claire. However, there might be a way for Claire to level the playing field when it comes to Summer. Since there's been so much focus on how Harrison links Kyle and Summer, could Claire end up pregnant and give Kyle a permanent link to her as well? It might be interesting if Claire's sneaky side came out to play a little bit here. Jordan raised Claire, so that part of her is still in there somewhere, just waiting to come out for a new storyline. Could Claire get pregnant on purpose and hope it locks in her future with Kyle? Summer could at least accuse Claire of that if she ends up with Kyle's bun in the oven. Even if Claire gets pregnant by mistake due to some birth control mishap, Summer could still toss accusations around and add to the conflict between them. Perhaps Summer could try to get inside Kyle's head and act like Claire's trying to trap him. Whatever the case, Kyle and Claire have been sleeping together for a while now, so the door's wide open for a pregnancy story if Wyatt R. wants to go there. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor will continue to make doomed predictions about Kyle and Claire's future, but will he be proven right? Could Kyle and Claire's baby be the game changer that Claire needs? Summer, Kyle, and Claire's love triangle will come with more twists and turns, so stay tuned for updates on any stunning news ahead. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers is dealing with some scary symptoms that could spell trouble. Could Martin Laurent aka Alan Laurent have arranged for some delayed poison effects? During Phyllis' time in captivity, she drank a bottle of water and became seriously ill soon after. Phyllis was in total agony due to the burn in her stomach and might have faced a grim fate without the antidote Sharon Newman found. However, there's no guarantee that antidote was safe since it came from a madman. It's possible that Phyllis was given something to counteract the poison while setting her up for more health issues later. Phyllis felt relief initially, but now some delayed poison effects could be kicking in if that's what Twisted Martin had in mind. We certainly wouldn't put it past Martin to create some other sinister layers to his scheme. In Wyatt R.'s March 19 episode, Summer Newman gave Sharon and Nick Newman some alarming updates on Phyllis following the kidnapping ordeal. According to Summer, Phyllis seems off and has been exhibiting some erratic behavior. Summer's used to Phyllis being super focused, but now she's scattered and losing her train of thought in a simple conversation. It's possible Phyllis is dealing with PTSD or just having a rough time adjusting to her real life again. That said, there's a chance something more serious is going on here. Sharon and Phyllis were checked out by paramedics following all the abduction chaos, but they really should have had a more thorough examination at the hospital. Since Sharon witnessed Phyllis' medical crisis when they were locked up, she voiced concerns of her own in the March 19 episode, and insisted Phyllis might need a doctor. Phyllis was drugged to get her into captivity before ingesting poison and a potentially sketchy antidote, so she's had all kinds of unidentified stuff in her system. Could Martin have another trick up his sleeve when it comes to the lingering effects on Phyllis? Time will tell, but Summer will continue to make some unsettling predictions about Phyllis' condition. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Billy Abbott will try to help Phyllis as well in the coming episodes, so stay tuned for more news on her health. The Young and the Restless spoilers for March 22 reveal that Martin Laurent's grand final will get underway while Chance Chancellor passes along a clue. Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman will also face their last chance to survive, so let's talk about what's coming up. In captivity, Sharon and Phyllis will try to nail down where exactly in the room the camera is. The goal will be to turn it off and ruin the kidnapper's fun so that he'll ultimately be forced to show his face. However, Phyllis and Sharon could be punished for trying to make their own rules. This is a very elaborate experiment that was designed with total control in mind, so Martin, who is seemingly posing as his twin brother, Alan Laurent, may retaliate. Whatever the case, Martin will obviously have some sort of grand final in store when it comes to this kidnapping chaos. Phyllis and Sharon will find themselves in a desperate struggle to survive, so there could be an explosive device with a countdown or even some sort of toxic gas that gets pumped in the room. Of course, it's possible Alan will excuse himself from his engagement celebration with Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, and head over to Havenhurst at some point. Could that lead to Alan getting busted there? Regardless, Y&R spoilers say Nick Newman and Billy Abbott will eventually arrive at the clinic in hopes of pulling off a rescue. Chance won't be far behind and will come with updates on a clue, so this could help them save the captives and potentially expose Alan as well. It sounds like Martin may lose control of his plot, so that should bring some wild moments. The climax of this kidnapping storyline will deliver some scary twists and turns, but Phyllis and Sharon will score freedom in the end. Sadly, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Tracy will face total devastation when she realizes everything she thought she knew about Alan is a lie. Although Tracy will continue making predictions about her bright future with Alan, she'll inevitably face some crushing news soon.